Hello again, this is Javier, the CEO of SmarterPath, an AI automation agency focused on lead qualification, lead generation, and customer support solutions via voice and text. Today, we're going to be checking how to create a podcast content generation system where we will repurpose the content from a podcast so that we can generate content for another social network that we have. In this case, we will focus on LinkedIn. But we could do this the same way for Instagram, X, Facebook, or any other one that we like. As a point, we're doing this with a podcast, but we could do this with newsletters or any other type of content that we want to repurpose. So let's get into the build. Which will be a bit complicated because there's 3 parts to it, but we'll go step by step and it should be fine. So let's start this with a cron. So we schedule a trigger. Midnight is fine for now. We can adapt it if we have to, and then we go into a sheet. So we're gonna get rows in sheet. We want to do it from my credentials, good. And the sheet that we were going into, this is the sheet. And we can actually go into the sheet. And from the sheets, we'll actually go into into new podcasts here. And we're going to be filtering out some of them. So we want them to be, if they're done, they'll have a 1, so we'll have empty so that we actually take them. And if they have here a to do, and this needs to be true. So let's go into the sheet to understand what that means. So in the new podcast, we'll actually put here the channel from the podcast, the URL, and some comments from our end. And then to do, in this case, this is true, this is false, and if they're done already. So if they're done, then we will remove the to do, and we'll just add a 1 here to make sure we don't take them again. So this should actually be good enough as it is. So let's execute this step. Great. So we have Greg Eisenberg's, this one, review of different AI tools like N8N, Lindy, MCP, Cloud Code. Perfect. So we are good with that. Okay. So now we have the input of the YouTube video. Now we need to transcribe the YouTube video or the podcast. So for that, we will actually use Apify. Okay. So we will go for a specific endpoint in Apify. So we want to use this one. So we want to run an actor synchronously with input and get dataset items. Synchronously because we want to actually get the output from the request and wait for it. We don't want to just have it run on the background while we do other stuff. We want to wait until it's done. And we want to get the dataset items. So this is the one that we will do. So let's take this and copy and paste it into the URL here and import. So we have pretty much everything already done right here. So we need to have the bearer token. We need to have our own token. We'll also need to add fields here. And we need an actor ID right here. So for the actor ID, we want to transcribe. So we'll take this one. And this is the actor ID right here. We could actually also take it right there. So that's what we will add here in this case. And then in the headers, we have the accept, application JSON, authorization. We need to have our token here. So let's remove that. And if we go into our settings, you'll actually be able to see here we have API and integration. So we can just copy this one and we'll add it right here. And we'll blur it out so that you don't see it. So this is perfect. And then we need to send a body and actually use a JSON here. So the JSON here, we'll base it off of the information from the actor here. Of the input here, I mean. So this one right here. So we will just copy and paste this right in. And here, instead of having this URL, we'll have the one that we got from here. And this gets messed up often. So we just need to copy it, cut it out, and paste it right here. So this is how we like it. And so now it's already done. So if we execute this, we will do so. And we will pin the result so we don't have to rerun it every time because Apify request charge us a little bit of money. not the end of the world. It's quite cheap, but still not worth doing it every time and having to wait for it. So we have this long transcript, and it was actually quite fast, as you saw. And that's what we will use as our raw data, basically, to create the posts. Let's keep also this as in data, so we don't have to rerun that either. So, okay, now that we have this, we will actually go into OpenAI. We can use any model for this one. I'll just go into an OpenAI model directly, and we will do a messaging model. And here we will just add a couple of things to make sure that, let's take this one, and we'll just set it up. So we are using 4.0 latest. This is fine. It's not a huge thing that we're gonna do. And here I'm just gonna copy and paste a bunch of small prompts so that we are good with what it's doing. So you're a helpful, intelligent content writing assistant that works with transcripts. Fairly simple, and this is a system prompt. So that's what this is going to be doing as a system. So now we're going to be adding messages here, okay? So now this one is going to be as a user, and what we will add here is the following. So you take as input a long meandering transcript, and you identify the 5 to 10 most interesting, engaging points, taking also into account the following comments. So here we will add the comments that we get from here, so these comments. And actually, let's change the name of I don't like. So here we will call it get new podcast. So let's just do that. Okay, so now that's what we'll be taking here, get new podcast, the comment. Okay. Then we'll add a new one, another prompt also as a user, just to give it the rest of the input that we have. So here we will give it the video title, which we got here. We'll say it's by and the channel name. So let's take that. And then we'll just take the transcript. Actually, we can just name the transcript as such. And we have it video name. And we can just do that by, in this case, let's see how it looks. So video name this by this person, and then the transcript, and we have the full thing right here. So that's what we will be sending out into the prompt. We will output the content as JSON as well. This will be good for us. And then we'll keep the temperature low. This is actually quite high, so let's do a 0.2. And with this, we should be good. So let's execute this step and see what ideas we get from it. So it's going to take a few seconds to run. And once it does, we'll have between 5 and 10 ideas based on what we asked it to do, based on all of this transcript. Great. So now we have this topic, Cloud Code, Devon. Okay, perfect. So it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do, which is basically take each tool that this comments on, or MCP in this case, and it basically puts some comments on them and creates a summary. And we have the summary and the topic. So this is great. So now we can actually go with this. And what we want to do now is take all of that and add it into the sheet that we already have. Okay. 1 second though. Oh yeah, I forgot to do something part of the prompt, because that's actually not the exact format of output that I wanted to have. So we actually want to have a specific format for the output, just to give it all of the information that we want. So let's copy this prompt as well and give it some more information as well. And actually, I might not need to do one of the things. So this is the JSON transcript. We are already doing it as this part right here. So I don't think we need to add it twice. So let's just remove it from here. Let's actually remove it here. No, I like it here actually. So let's keep it here and remove it from this section right here. Okay, so what do we do in this section? Apart from what we had in the comments, is Generate a JSON containing these interesting engaging points in this structure. So sections, number, paragraph transcript, context and feedback, and deep explanation. So the paragraph of the relevant part of the transcript goes here, a description of why this point is interesting, and a one paragraph write-up based on the transcript section that expand upon its points, clarifies any ambiguities, and generally fills in any blanks. And there's some rules here for how we write. So in a Spartan laconic tone of voice, copy any transcript sections exactly as they are, look for unorthodox or interesting ways to make the content better in the context and feedback object, and generate 5 to 10 points. So we'll keep this, and we'll actually use this again for the, we'll actually ask for a specific output. Let's see. Oh, no, we don't have this in this type. Okay, so we'll keep it as it is. And here we'll retry on fail, yes. So here, get ideas out. And let's execute this step. Again, and let's wait for this to generate now. And now we will have all of the ideas in this format right here. So we'll have the section number, the transcript, and a lot more context so that we can actually build on top of that. Okay, so let's wait a couple more seconds while this builds. Great, so now we have it, and we actually have really long paragraphs here. But still, how many ideas do we have? We got 9 ideas, so we had to have between 5 and 10, so this is great. And deep explanation, okay, context and people, they say clear, beginner-friendly explanation of GitHub branching to improve, add a diagram or animation showing the branching and merging process. Also clarify how this fits into CI/CD workflows. Okay, that might be more technical than the kind of thing that I want to do, so this might not be actually useful, but we'll go into how we will manage that in the future. So this is about bootstrapping AI businesses. This is actually quite interesting. So this is actually something that I would be interested in posting about. UX security, maybe less interesting for me, but could still work. Here, agentic coding assistance, this could be interesting, although we need, okay, here, Rabbit and Devon, interesting. Okay, I don't know about these specifically, but if they had another one, this could be interesting as well. Here it talks about Bolt and Lovable. This could be a great one to write for me. Lindy as well. This is interesting. And let's see if we have one for N8N. Code Rabbit. Here what they're talking about. Supabase and Convex. A bit technical, but we could work with them. Number 5. Let's see. Oh, that's the one. 4. Bold and Lovable. Okay, good. And then number 3. This is jumpy, so it's hard to see. Okay, this is good. And let's see if number 2 has about N8N. Interesting, it doesn't cover N8N, it seems. But still, this is not bad. Let's go with a schema. It's actually less jumpy. Interesting that it doesn't go into N8N, because that's actually one of the ones that I was. It's, I mean, and it's marketing. And this is what I like about Lindy. So this might actually be N8N when they're talking here. But this is interesting. So now we have a bunch of ideas right here that we can actually work from to create posts from this video. So now what we want to do is split them out. So we want to split them out. And what do we split them out based on? Oh, actually, also, let's pin this so we don't have to rerun it. And we split them out based on message content sections. So this right here. And because these are the sections that have all of them. So section 0 is the first one, section 1 is the next one, and we will have 9 of them. So up to number 8, since we're starting at 0. So these are the ones that we have. So if we execute this step, we'll get the first one out here, and then 9 items. So we'll have 9 like this, but these are actually already split. So now we can loop through them. So we can just loop over items, and batch size is 1, perfect. And now we will actually add these into our Google Sheet. So let's quickly do this. And here we will actually we actually want to add this Google Sheet into both of them. So we'll just add it here and add it at the end. And we will just have to change here this. And instead of getting rows, we want to update a row. So we'll do that in a second. And here we also want to do the same thing. So we'll just copy this again, remove this, go into this, and we'll go back out. What do we want to do here? So we want to unpin this again. And again, we also want to update rows. So we update the rows in the same one, but instead of doing it in the new podcast one, we'll do it in the LinkedIn section. So what do we have here? We have date added, idea, transcription, context and feedback, personal context, post body, image prompt, post image, and post on. So here we will touch on these three columns, adding the idea, the transcription, and the context and feedback. This one we'll have to add manually afterwards. And based on this, we will actually create the post, an image prompt, and then an actual image using that prompt. So let's go into actually adding those fields. So we are matching on the, let's see quickly. Actually, we're not updating a row, we're actually creating one in this case. So append row in this case, since we don't have anything yet. So for the date added, it's going to be today, let's say. So we are going to just do this and as an expression. And then the idea, let's see. Okay, let's execute previous nodes so that we can start adding things. Good. So now what we need to add into the idea is the deep explanation. So this will call it the idea. Then the transcription, we will take the page transcript. Then the context and feedback, we'll just take it exactly as that. And the rest we will keep empty for now. We will minimize API calls. Yes. And to avoid issues with this, we will actually add a wait, just so we don't call on this API too much right now. And we'll wait for 1 second between calls. So this is perfect. Now we can actually just run the whole thing and iterate on it. So now this will actually just add exactly those fields into right here. So we have August 6th, which is today, and the idea, the transcription, the context and feedback. And now we can add personal context right here. And then we can keep going with the rest of the sheets. And eventually right here, what we want to do once we are done with everything is we would take from here, we need to save it somehow. So let's see quickly how we can get that. So basically what we want to get here is select column to match on. We want to select it as let me think quickly how we do this. We want to take the channel and we want to map it based on the URL. This would work. So let's see this. So we have this URL. So let's match on that. For whatever reason, it's showing us an error as undefined, even though we're taking it from this. And then the rest will keep the same, but now the to do is going to be false and the done is going to be 1. So we can just run the whole thing now and see how it shapes out. So let's just execute the workflow. And we can see how we're going through the wait. That way we don't have actual issues here. And let's actually change the names here. So this is update ideas. And let's also change settings here. So retry on fail 3 times, 1 second between each. So this is fine, good. And here we'll actually update podcast status. And as well, we want to actually retry on fail at least 3 times. And here actually for this one, we don't want to stop. So we would actually want to continue. So we've gone through 9, we've gone through the whole thing. So now we have 1, 2, 3. Let's actually make them smaller, these rows, because otherwise it's hard to count. But resize to size 21. Okay. So now we have all of these. So there's 9 rows, I think. There should be 9. There's a count of 10. So we actually doubled on the first one. So we can just, since we did it for testing, we can just remove this. So delete row. Let's make size a bit bigger. And we have everything here for all of these. And now we have the possibility of adding personal context manually. And this will be the thing that will determine whether we, in the next part of the flow, we take it and we add a post body, and we generate a post body and an image prompt from it. If we don't see that this is a good idea for us, we don't have enough insight, personal one or whatever, we can leave this empty so it doesn't get included into the next flow that we're going to be creating now. So that's how you make the first part of this build. The second part we will do it next week, so we keep this one simple. You can watch it right here. This one we just kept it simple for the first part, where we just generate the initial section of ideas and then we complement that with our own context. Next week we'll actually generate the post, generate the images, and store them into our Google Drive. As always, I am Javier from Smarter Path, and I hope to see you next week.